In this video, we're going to take a series of images off of a memory card and then copy those to the computer, create a collage out of those images, create a silhouette cutout, and then a second collage behind them. So here I have Photoshop open, but the first thing I need to do is browse to where my memory card is, which for me is disk F, and I'm going to go in here and select these images. Now these images are from a recent trip we took to Albuquerque, the Hot Air Balloon Festival, so these will be nice vibrant photos, I think, for this. Now what I like to do is go to the very last one, or you can do the first one. What I need to do is select them, and you can, since I don't want to select the whole memory card, this has I don't know how many things, I'm just going to select a few photos. And what I've done is I've highlighted the first one by clicking on it. That's all I did. I just clicked on it. You can see it's highlighted with a little blue box around it. And I'm going to scroll down all the way to the very last one with balloons in it. I'm going to hold down the Shift key and click on that, and it highlighted everything in between. Now you can do this a few different ways as well. You can click and drag over the ones you want. Many different ways to select these. But then I'm going to copy them. You can hit Control C, or it's Option C, I think, on a Mac, or you can right click and get the menu there. I'm going to hit copy, and then what I want to do is paste in my computer. I'm going to go to my desktop and create a new folder, and I don't even need to name it anything. I'll just leave it default, and I'll paste these in. Now you don't have to do it to your desktop. It could be your My Documents folder, many different options there. But I'll paste these in, and as you can see, it's copying from the memory card to my computer. And I'll pause the video so we don't have to wait the full 60 seconds. Alright, so now that that's done, what I want to do is pick photos from here. Now, I'm just for this example, I'm just going to pick 9, and we'll go 3 by 3. So what I'm doing on my keyboard is I'm holding the Control button, and I'm just clicking to select the 3 that I want. So these 9 are the ones I'm going to use for the front collage. And I'm just going to take these and drop them right into Photoshop, and they open. Now you can also right click, open with Photoshop. You can also go to File, Open, and then browse to where they are to open those. Either way, now we have them open. One thing that I like to do with photos is correct them. And if you notice, this was taken in the sunrise. It's very low light. And what I'm going to do in Photoshop, it has a few features to do this. One of the easiest ones to use is levels. And I hit Control L to bring up a levels menu and just hit this auto. And it automatically corrects it to what it thinks it should be. And if you notice, it's a bit better. I'm just going to undo and redo to show you the difference. So this is the original. This is the automatic corrected with the levels, and as you can see, it's much better. Now I don't want to do those to each one, so I'm going to skip that for the rest, and we'll just go back to the original photo. Now, aside from the ones that are all selected, and you can see they're across here, these are all the images that I picked. I need one more, and I mean one more document, I should say. So I need one for the assignment, and what I'm going to do is make it be 7.5 by 10. And the reason I picked that number is because pieces of paper are 8.5 by 11. If I want to print this on my printer, I need to give myself a little bit of a margin, so that I create a document, and then I can't print an actual, edge to edge on my printer. I would need just a little bit of space. That's why I picked this size. So I'll say that's okay. Now one thing I'm going to do, since if you notice, the other part of the problem is these are rectangular. These are all landscape oriented images. So one other thing I'm going to do here, since I'm only going to do 9, is I'm going to figure out what the columns are, and I'm going to take my little ruler and go to 2.5, 5 inches, and then you can see I have 3 even columns. So at 2.5, 5 inches, and then of course 7.5 at the end. Now if you don't see these, what I did is you can hit Control or Option R to make those show, and then to drag the little line, you just click in this area and drag straight across, and it makes the line. You can do the same thing, just pull it off or put it back, and it makes it go away. Anyway, what I'm going to do, first photo, I select it all, and I'm going to copy, and I'm just doing that on my keyboard here, and then go back to this image and paste. And as you can see, it's giant. I need to resize it. Easy tip is hit Control T, and then that puts these little resizing boxes on the ends. And so what I'm going to do before I click on it is I'm going to hit shift and hold down the shift key as I click and drag, and the shift key keeps it proportional. I'll drag it to this first line. As you can see, I don't know if you can tell on the video, but it turns slightly red when I'm right on it. So I can let go my mouse, I'll let go of shift, and then I'll hit enter to commit the changes. So here we have an image. Now one thing we're going to run into is if I only do the 9 images I have, I'm going to have a bunch of empty space here. So real quickly, I'm going to copy these, and you don't have to do this step. I'm just doing this for this example because I need to realize that this will only be this big. So I'm just going to crop it to right here. So pay no attention to these copies. Anyway, this is going to be my document just for this example. That way, as I go through and I copy all of them, that I'm not going to have a bunch of empty space left over. So what I'm doing now is I'm just taking and pasting each of them, and they don't have to be resized perfectly, right? No one will really know. I'll just overlap them as I go. So I'm Control A, select all, Control C, copy, and then I go. I'm using Control Shift Tab if you're wondering how I'm getting back to this. You can hit Control T. It's like shifting or going between tabs in a browser. Anyway, let me pause the video, and that way you don't have to watch me do this whole thing. I'll do the other 3. Hold on. Alright, so this is the last one. I'm going to hit Control A for select all, copy, and then tab over to this one, and then paste, and then I'm going to hit Control T to resize it, shift, click, drag down, and then I'm using the arrow key. If you're wondering which one it is, it's this one here to resize it and to move it. So as you can see by these lines, it's not perfect. I didn't line them up so perfectly. I mean, you can if you want, but anyway. And then as you see here, they're all in different layers. And the one thing is, if you're making a collage, and it's sort of funny because it's a collage, but really we're completely eliminating the center image. It's almost pointless to even pick it. But what I'm going to do is flatten the entire layers. That way I can cut them all together. So as you see here, I have layers 1 through 9, and each of them represent one of the images I copied and pasted, of course. So this one, I'm going to hit Control E, and that flattens it. But you can do it. I don't know. One of these. How is it? Layer, that's what it is. Flatten? It's gotta be somewhere it says flatten. I just remember it. Merge down, that's what it is. Anyway, merge down, that's what we're doing. It's not really flatten. Anyway, Control E. So if you click that, it combines those two. So it takes the top one and it combines with the one below it. So I'm gonna merge them all together. I'm just hitting Control E a bunch. Anyway, they're all there. Now I'm not going to go all the way to the background because if I do that, then there's nothing behind it. And one thing I want to do is have layers in between. So, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. And I'll make a hot air balloon shape. I'll just draw it real quick. Well, I don't want to draw it. That'd be crazy. There, let's pick one. Here, this is a pretty. Well, yeah, this is a pretty good one. So this is what we'll do. Take this, drag it to right click, open it with Photoshop, and then take this, the whole thing, and where's our thing? Put it here. Now, oops. Okay, I'm pasting, same as the others. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I just want the shape, so I'm not going to resize it perfectly until I just see the shape that I want, and that's about it right there. And as far as the festival goes, or the fiesta as they call it, it was actually quite cool. This is the flag the official flag is sort of the flag raising ceremony. Anyway, what I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to highlight all of the area around it, and I'm using, if you're wondering, this magic wand tool, and I'm highlighting and selecting, not really highlighting, just selecting the whole thing around it. And what I'm going to do is delete it all out. So now there's just that. But then I also need to delete the flag because that's going to ruin our shape. Sorry, flag. Nothing personal, just business. So now the silhouette of this is what we're after. So this silhouette, now as you can see, it's a perfect balloon silhouette. And so I'm going to select that, and then I'm going to go inverse. Now what I've done is I selected this area, and I've inversed it so that now this area is selected. The reason I'm doing that is I don't even need this anymore. I just needed the shape. Now as you can see, I have a nice selected balloon shape. And what I'm going to do is actually to this layer where all the photos are, and I'm going to delete the whole thing. So now we have an area underneath. I have this balloon silhouette that I just created, and what's great about that is I can put now things behind it. Now let's do that. So I'm going to go back to my directory of images, and I'll pick these with my kids. That'll be nice and easy. And you know, maybe I'll just pick one. Here, this is a pretty good one. Yeah, no, we'll do this one. Sorry. Okay. Open with Photoshop, and then it shows up over here. And this is a pretty good kind of them. And I'm going to copy, and I'm going to paste it. Now I have to paste it in the right layer. I have to paste it below it. Well, you don't really have to. Actually, if you do, paste it above it. Just take this, drag it underneath, and you can see what I mean. Here it is, the image is now behind it. Now there's a lot of different ways you could do this. You could do a quick mask, you could do a few other things, but I'm just doing it this simple way here. So here are my kids behind the image, and they're a bit out of focus. Bless their heart, that's just how they live. And I'll position it. This isn't really that great of a photo as far as photos go, because I don't know who the back of this woman is. It's just somebody that was standing there. Anyway, so yeah, tried getting them all in. Anyway, that's our images. So now what we have is we just use this balloon for the shape. I don't need that anymore. I use that to select around it, and what I did real quick is I used this wand tool. I selected in the empty space. I went to inverse, and I selected the other layer. That's very important. You can't just hit delete or anything. You have to select that layer, and I deleted that out of there, and then anything behind that layer shows up. Anyway, that's how that's done. These don't have to be perfectly square. They could be all over the place. They could be resized unevenly, and I'm talking about this layer with the balloons. You could resize those any which way. You could crop them ahead of time. You could color correct them ahead of time. One thing I will mention is here, if I wanted to go back and do that automatic level thing and fix them all, since they're all in one layer now, I can fix the whole lot since they're all together, so it's a little easier that way. Anyway, I'll turn that on. Now this is an image with several layers. I don't need the layers for a TIFF format. TIFF format isn't really that complex. So what I'm going to do is save as, and I'll go back to my desktop for this. And let's see, I'll save as TIFF. TIFF? No, if? GIF. JPEG, GIF, TIFF. Here we go, right at the bottom. It's alphabetical, very tricky for people who aren't used to alphabetized things apparently. Anyway, now I have assignment.tiff. It's going to format it, everything correctly. It might ask me one more, it'll give me one more thing, and pay no attention to any of these, just hit OK, and you'll be alright. Now, if it includes layers, that's fine, just say OK. What I normally do just before you close is I will say you save as, don't save as a TIFF first. Actually, what I would do is save as a PSD. Now that's just for saving and working on. Save it as a PSD first, and then go back and save as a TIFF. Anyway, that's how you do it.